All right, so this is going to be my video tutorial on how to perform file sharing between VMs in your host system when the bidirectional drag and drop is not working. It's a very easy process. You just have to make sure you take care of a few things prior to. So first of all, choose which VMs you're powering on. In this instance, I've powered on my Windows desktop and my Kali Linux desktop. Next thing you want to do is make sure that each of your systems is set to be on the same network segment. In this case, I have both systems set to the NAT network. Let me check the Kali Linux box, settings, network. Okay, NAT network, that means they're on the same network segment. Okay, now on the physical systems, I'm going to check and make sure that DHCP is enabled. So if I go to Ethernet, change adapter settings, right click over here, go to properties, click on IP4, go to properties. Okay, we're set for DHCP. Then on Kali, we'll do the same thing. Right click over this little icon right here, go to edit connections, wired connection 1, and click the sprocket and check your IP4, and you're set for DHCP. So it looks like we're good to go on both sides. Let's go ahead and verify that we are in fact talking to each other. So let's sudo up to root and get our IP address. We see that we are 10.0.26. And then in Windows, we'll do command and then IP config 10.0.24. So from Windows, we'll ping 10.0.26. Okay, looks like we're getting return packets. So that means our network segment's good and our two boxes can talk to each other successfully. So next, what we want to do is create the ability to share files between our host and our systems. So what you're going to have to do is on your host machine, find a directory that you want to share out. Okay, in this case, I have this directory right here, and I'm going to create a new one, and I'll call it share. Okay, and you can do this anywhere on your host machine. It doesn't matter where it is. Right click over it, go to properties, click sharing, click the share button. Okay, right now it's set to your default account, but you actually need to provide an additional account with a username and password because of how SMB version 3 works. So if you don't have an extra account on your computer, go ahead and make yourself one. It can be just a dummy account. It doesn't need any admin rights or anything. For me, I have one called T Stark. Take a wild guess where that comes from. Oh, helps if I can spell it right. T Stark. I'm going to give them read and write access to the share. Click done. And then under advanced sharing, you're going to hit share this folder and permissions. And now you're going to allow the everyone full control. Now what that does is that gives them full access to the share and the contents inside. It doesn't give them full control of the contents inside. It just gives them full control to be able to access the share. Okay, so don't confuse that. So now, if we go to the control panel on our Windows on our host machine, and we go to network and internet, and we go to network sharing center, go to adapter settings. Okay, your VirtualBox host adapter will look like this. And this is the way your host system talks to your virtual machines. So if you go over here and go to status, you will see that your host system has an address of 192.168.56.1. So that is on technically the same network segment as your virtual machines. So you should be able to ping this address from these VMs, and we're going to test that. So 192.168.56.1. 192.168.56.1. Okay, Looks like we're good here. And we're good here. So we can talk to our host system through that IP address. So next, what we're going to do on Windows, it's pretty easy. All we got to do is go back 192.168.56.1 and then college share. See, because SMB is turned on, it's already advertising that folder. So now if I go back to that directory on my host machine, documents, Wisconsin University, college share, and I put in just a test file, text file .text, and let's put some data in it. Blah. Save. Okay, it should show up here on your host system, where now you can pull it off and put it in your downloads directory if you want. Okay, and it is bidirectional. So a good way to make this persistent is just go back a step to your network, right click over college share and map network drive. Make sure that reconnected sign in is checked and hit finish. And now on your VM, you have a mapped drive. Okay, so now you can share files back and forth. If I want to drop this XAMPP copy into that file share, boom, it's writing it to my host machine. Okay, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's not bad. That's actually writing pretty fast. Okay, done. Okay, so I just passed data from my VM to my host machine and back again. Okay, now let's do it on the Linux box. On the Linux system, let's close this, 56.1. Okay, on the Linux system, you have to mount the share to the file system. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we have a package installed called sys utils. So let's make sure we can get out to the internet, ping 8.8.8.8, and we can. Okay, so next we want to do apt get install sys utils. And looks like it's already installed, so that's good. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, let's find out where we are in our file structure. Okay, we're sitting at root. I think I'm going to put it at the root of the file system. So I'm going to cd into the root of the file system. Okay, and then I'm going to make a directory, and I'm going to call it host share. Okay, so as you can see, host share is now sitting in that file structure. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount my server or my host system to this folder. Okay, so I'm going to type in mount tac-t sys tac-o. This is where the username and password comes in because of SMB. So username equals Stark. Okay, then type in the path, which was 192.168.56.1 _share, and then the directory that you're going to mount this to, which is sitting at root and host share. Okay, it's like that, and then hit enter. Bad unc. Oh, what did I do wrong? 192.168.56.1. Delimiter. It didn't like that delimiter. College share. Make sure I'm typing in that path right. College_share. Yeah. 192.168.56.1. College share. I'm sure it's not forward slashes. I don't think it is, but it might be just because it's Linux. Okay, I guess that is it. Put in my password. Okay, so that took, so it is forward slashes, not backslashes. That's my mistake. Okay, so now if you ls the college share directory, host share, I'm sorry. Host share. Now you can see those files that are in that directory are now accessible. And you can CD into it, host share. And now you can move those files out. So you could do a copy everything into home Glenn downloads. And then if you do an ls of downloads, now you see the files are there. So that's how you mount a Windows directory to a Linux box, and how you're able to pass those files to back and forth between those machines. Now, furthermore, we can do the same thing between these two VMs, okay, because they're on the same network segment. So if I wanted to just simply pass documents between these two VMs, it's essentially the same process, right? So on this virtual machine, I'll just create a new directory. I'll call it share1. And let's see, I need to create a user account real quick. So let me go to and we'll go to user accounts and go here to user accounts. Make another user account. Have a new user. And someone else. Cancel. Let's try. Yeah, family and other users. So we don't want to sign in with a Microsoft account. We just want to create a dummy account. Let's try that again. I don't have this person's sign-in information. Add a user without a Microsoft account. Okay, username, Bob, password, security questions. What's your pet's first name? Dog. Oh, what city were you born in? City. What's your childhood nickname? Nick. Okay, so now we have Bob with the password of password. So let's go back to our share that we created and hit properties, sharing, share. We'll add Bob. And we'll give him read write. Okay. And then advanced sharing, share the folder and give everyone full access to the share. And let's put a file in there just so we know that it's working. Okay. And let's see here. So 10.0.2.4. So now on the Linux box, let's go back to root and let's make a new directory. Make directory from root. We'll call this one VM share. Okay. And then I'm lazy, so I'm going to up arrow till I find that mount command. Mount T sifs. And then username Bob. And IP was 10.0.2.5, right? 10.0.2.4. And then the name of the share on the Windows machine, which we called it share 1. And then the place that I'm mounting it to, VM_share. Mount sifs. I did it again. Going back and forth between Windows and Linux, sometimes you got to retool your brain. Okay. Ask for the password for Bob, PASSWORD. Let's see here. What? No such file or directory. Did I not name that? Share 1. 10.0.2.4. Yep, share 1. Oh, gotta pay attention to detail. Let's try it again. 10.0.2.4, share 1, VM share. Oh, and I don't want T Stark. Why is it trying to use T Stark? There we go. So it took. So now if we ls into VM share, there's that test file. Okay, so now we have 2 directories mounted. Now there is a way to make this persistent, because right now, if you were to reboot this Linux box, you would lose these shares and you would have to remount them. So the way to make this persistent is you go into a file called fs tab. So you go nano etsy fs tab, and you go down here to the bottom and you type in your mount point, which was, we'll do the first one. So it was 192.168.56.1 college_share, and then the mount point, which was what do we call the mount point? Host_share. Okay, mount point, host_share. Okay, then username equals T Stark. And actually, we got to do the file system, which is sifs. Then the argument, username equals T Stark, and then 0, 0. And that should work. And then we'll do the other one, which was 10.0.2.4, share 1. I want things to line up as much as possible. VM_share. Also sifs. Name equals Bob. Oh, and in this case, we have to put in the password. So T Stark equals, or is it pass PSSWD? Pretty sure it's password. We'll find out in a minute. I have to change my password. Password equals now obviously the problem with this is insecure, right? Because if someone gets into your system and looks at etcfs tab, well, they can see username and passwords. Okay, hit Control X, Y to save. Okay, now the way to see if this works is do a mount TAC A. If you get no errors, that means it worked. ls VM underscore share, still there. And ls host share. Okay, now let's prove it. Let's reboot the system. Now, on Windows, obviously, this is persistent by virtue of the fact that it's Windows. It remembers that, along with your mounted share here. So we can go ahead and minimize that. Okay, let's go back in. And let's just do an ls VM underscore share. And look, there's the share to the Windows VM. ls host share. And there's your host system. So by putting in etcfs tab, that did make it persistent. Okay. And that is how you mount a file system onto a Linux system, both between Windows and Linux and between a VM and your host. So I hope this helps you guys out with getting these files transferred between your host system and your VMs. Hit me up on Slack if you have any further questions, and good luck.